Checkity check check.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And for those of you joining us on YouTube and TempleShalom.com, Shabbat Shalom to all of you as well. We are celebrating this beautiful Shabbat called Shabbat Naso, named after the Torah portion of Naso. And also, we're celebrating with this guy over here too. It's Levi's Bar Mitzvah weekend this weekend, so we're excited for him to lead us through some parts of our service this evening, and he'll continue leading us tomorrow morning, including reading from the Torah and giving us a little Torah teaching as well. We're going to continue in your Siddur Mishkan Tefillah on page 128. The second song on the page, Ma Yafeh Hayom. What a beautiful day it is to get today. Shabbat Shalom, a Shabbat of peace. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. If you will turn back to page 120, we're going to have Levi come on over here. I think we're inviting these two other characters, right, Levi? Your brother and your sister to come join you as they're going to help you light the Shabbat candles over here. We continue in our service as we turn to page 130, as we make our way through the prayers of our Kabbalat Shabbat. And Levi's going to come back and join us in just a little while as we make our way through some of these Psalms as we welcome in Shabbat. We begin with Psalm 95 on page 130. We say, Lechuna ranana ladonai, let us sing joyfully to God. Lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina ladonai. Lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina ladonai. Naria, naria, litzuri shinu, nikadma fanav betoda. Naria, naria, litzuri shinu, izmiro urialo. Lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina ladonai. Lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina, lechuna ranina ladonai. On page 131, we come to Psalm 96, the paragraph that's at the very bottom of the page. Yismechu hashamayim, may the heavens be glad. V'tagel haaretz, and the land rejoice. Yiram hayam, and the sea also. Umelo'o, and all that fill it. All of God's creation gives thanks for their own creation. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Melo'o. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Melo'o. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Let's read together page 133. At the bottom of the page, we read together in English from Psalm 98. A psalm, sing to Adonai a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's right hand, God's holy arm has won God victory. Adonai has manifested God's victory, has displayed God's triumph in the sight of the nations. God was mindful of God's steadfast love and faithfulness toward the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth beheld the victory of our God. Raise a shout to Adonai, all the earth. Break into joyous songs of praise. And we ourselves will break into one of those joyous songs. Page 135 at the bottom of the page. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, we exalt Adonai our God. V'hishtachavu lahar kodsho, and we bow down at God's holy mountain. In the Hebrew, it's the last three lines of the Hebrew. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavu lahar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavu lahar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavu lahar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu, v'hishtachavu lahar kodsho. We'll turn to page 136 and 137. Psalm 29 is a psalm that talks about God's power in the universe. We're going to read together along with Levi. He has no idea that he's leading this prayer. I'm literally telling him right now, Levi, did I tell you were leading this prayer? No, I didn't, exactly. But Levi's going to lead us in reading the English on page 100. Where are we? Wait, hold on. We're over here. Don't mind us. We'll just get to the right page in a moment. But Levi's going to lead us in reading the English as we make our way on 137. 136 or 137, 138 and 130. Or what? Levi, what page am I on? 136 and 137, that's it. And we're going to read together with Levi as he leads us through the English of the 2 pages. Go for it.
A Psalm of David. Describe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Describe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai in majestic holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The glory of the thunders over mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of Adonai kindles the flame of fire.
The voice of Adonai
convulses the wilderness. Adonai convulses the wilderness of Kadesh.
The voice
of Adonai causes hinds to calve, and strips forests bare. For our temple I'll say glory. Adonai says in the flood, forever. May Adonai grant strength to his people. May Adonai bestow
on God's people. That'll be the last 2 lines of that English. In the Hebrew, we find it just above. It's the last 2 lines of the Hebrew. Adonai oz le'amo yitain. May God give strength to God's people. Adonai yavarech et amo v'shalom. And may God bless God's people with completeness and peace. That's what shalom means. We'll begin with a little nigun, just a lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Page 138 and 139, we come to Lecha Dodi as we welcome in the image of the Shabbat bride. We'll sing verses 1 and 2 on page 138, verses 5 and 9 on page 139. Lecha Lecha Dodi, Ligrat Ligrat Kala, Pene Pene, Shabbat Mikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, mikrat mikrat kala, pene pene Shabbat mikabela la 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 la. Lecha dodi, mikrat mikrat kala, pene pene Shabbat mikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, mikrat mikrat kala, pene pene Shabbat mikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'vorecha, Yishmi El Hamiuchad, Adonai Echad, Shemo Echad, L'Shenu Tiferet B'Tfilah, la 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 la, Echad Dodi, Mikrat Mikrat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Mikabela. Lecha Lecha Dodi, Mikrat Mikrat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Mikabela. Mikrat Shabbat Lechu B'necha, Ki Mekor Habracha, Merosh Mikedem Nesucha, Socha Aseh B'machsheva Tfilah, la 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 la. Lecha Dodi, Mikrat Mikrat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Mikabela. lecha dodi tikrat kala pnei pnei Shabbat tikabela. Verse number 5. Oreri, Kivarech, Uri, Shir Daveri, Kibor Adonai Alai, La 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 la, Lekadodi, Tigat Kala, Pnei Shabbat Tikabela, Lekadodi, Tigat Kala, Pnei Shabbat. We rise as we face the door to welcome in the image of the Shabbat bride as we sing the final verse of Lechadodi. Boi shalom ater bala gam b'simcha u'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala la 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 Lechadodi tigat Lecha dodi tikrat kala pnei Shabbat tikabela la 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 Lecha dodi tikrat kala pnei Shabbat tikabela Lecha dodi tikrat kala pnei Shabbat tikabela. Before you're seated, I caught a couple of you. Before you're seated, that means don't sit down yet. I caught like 5 or 6 of you, I don't know. Before we're seated, we just welcomed in the Shabbat bride. So let's welcome in each other. Turn to the people to your left, to your right, in front of you, behind you, and wish everyone Shabbat Shalom. And for those of you online with us, Shabbat Shalom to all of you as well. Shabbat Shalom. Well, again, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. As we come back to our seats and we've greeted each other and welcomed each other and welcomed in Shabbat, we turn to page 140 to Psalm 92. Psalm 92, the Psalm of Shabbat, that says, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, let us sing a song of Shabbat. Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai, it is good to sing praises to God. Ulzamer L'Shimcha Elyon, and to sing of God's name most high, lahagid baboker chasdecha, to sing of God's righteousness in the morning, ve'emunatcha ba'leilot, and in the evening to speak of God's truthfulness or trustworthiness, as we speak of how God watches over us on this Shabbat. And Levi is back up already, and he's going to be helping us lead our way through Psalm 92, as again we give praise for Shabbat.
Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai, Ulizamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Ulizamer L'Shimcha Elyon. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai, Ulizamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Ulizamer L'Shimcha Elyon.
Lahagid baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatcha ba'leilot, alei asor ve'alei navel alei higayon v'chibor.
Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Tov L'Hodot L'Adonai, Ulizamer L'Shimcha Elyon, Ulizamer L'Shimcha Elyon.
Yisimachani Adonai b'po'olecha, במעשה ידיך ארני. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד, עמקו מחשבותיך.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב לדור לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב לדור לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
If you will please join me on page 144 as we come to Chatzi Kaddish to lead us out of our Kabbalat Shabbat, out of the preliminary prayers, and into the middle of our main evening service. Yitkada v'yitkadash shemei Rabba,
Amen.
Gama divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei b'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala, ba'agala, uv'izman ka'arivim eru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, ve'alam ulam me'almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vipar, Vitomam, Vinase, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shemei de Kudisha, Barichu, Le'elam, Mimko Berchata, V'shihirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damihiron, Be'alma, V'imiru, Amen. We rise as we turn to page 146. Which is the prayer Baruch Hu, which is our official invitation to prayer. And we're going to let Levi be the one to invite us. And I hope you will all accept the invitation as he invites us to pray with him.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We can all be seated. Now would be a good time for those of you who are our guests and have not been with us here at Temple Shalom, or for those of you who come to Temple Shalom regularly and may have forgotten, we'll point out something about our Siddur on the even-numbered pages in the book as we make our way through the rest of our service. You will find the traditional Hebrew prayers both in the Hebrew letters and in English transliteration so that you can pronounce them in Hebrew using English letters. Underneath is a fairly decent translation. It's required of me as a rabbi to say it's fairly decent because rabbis, we're not allowed to agree with the translations of another rabbi. It's our job to argue with that other rabbi. The translations are mostly pretty good, I'll say that. On the left-hand side, which is your odd-numbered pages, you will find poetry, poetic renditions, thematic renditions on the prayer, not the traditional prayer, but English that deals with the subject matter of the particular prayer. So if you want to follow along in the Hebrew, please do. If you want to read in the translations, please do. If you want to read the thematic material on the left-hand side, on the odd number pages, please do that as well as we'll make our way through our service. After our invitation to prayer, we continue giving thanks for all of creation. We'll find that prayer on page 148. We'll read in English and then we'll end with the Chatimah, the end of the prayer in Hebrew. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzavaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. The last three lines in Hebrew. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aharavim. Yai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Page 150, we continue as we give thanks for the words of Torah. 5 books of Moses with tens of thousands of words. According to Maimonides, a medieval rabbi, there are 613 commandments, and far more than that number of little bits of knowledge that we should gain. So each and every day we say, thank you, God, for giving us the Torah to be our guide for the day and the length of our days. Those words of this prayer, Ahavat Olam, with the love of the world and of your children of Israel, we give thanks to you for giving us this loving gift of Torah. Ahavat Olam, the top of page 150. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai, Eloheinu b'shochvenu, Kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, Ki heim chayenu, Ve'orech yameinu, Uvahem nehege yomam v'layla, Nehege yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, Nimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. We turn to page 152 and 153 as Levi leads us through the recitation of Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto Ve'olam Va'ed, V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך ושוכבך וקמך ושקתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל חסדותיי והייתם מקדשים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוציא אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם
Adonai Elohechem, Amen. Our next section we call Geula, our redemption from Egypt. We say, all this we hold to be true and trustworthy, that you are our God alone and we are your people. The first couple of lines on page 156, we sing those English words in the Hebrew. Emet be'emunah, emet be'emunah, emet be'emunah, kol zot ve'ekaya aleinu, emet be'emunah, kol zot ki hu Adonai Eloheinu At the bottom of page 137, we'll read responsively a little introduction to the words of Micha Mocha that we'll find on page 158. All right, Levi, you're the only vote that matters. Are you leading or am I leading page 137? 157. I know what page I'm always on. I'm just checking to see if Levi's got it. All right, Levi. Are you leading or am I leading? You can't take forever because then there's no dessert.
True. I will lead.
Cool. We'll read responsively with Levi at the bottom of page 157.
In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from holiness and peace, give us courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping us alive in dark ages, your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day, and the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shore of the sea. And we'll join with Levi, page 158, as he leads us as our ancestors sang these joyful words as they made their way from slavery to freedom.
Mi hamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi hamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, oh say felech, oh say felech, mi hamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi hamocha
Malachutecha Ra'u Vanecha Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eli Anu ve'omru Adonai Yiloch le'olam va'ed
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha le'darba kodesh.
Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Baruch atah Adonai, Go'al Yisrael, praised are you Adonai, the one who redeems your people, Israel. We continue on page 160. We say, O God, lie us down in peace and cause us to rise again tomorrow to life. Keep us away from enemy and illness and war, from famine and sorrow and wrongdoing. Watch our coming and our going for now and forever. And may you ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. May you spread a shelter of your peace over us and over all the world. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu b'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu b'chayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu b'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu b'chayim. The three indented lines in the middle of the page. Ushmor tzitenu Uvoinu L'chaim u'shalom V'yata v'adolam Laila lai lai laila lai Laila lai lai laila lai Laila lai lai laila Laila lai laila lai Laila lai lai laila lai Laila lai Baruch atah Adonai Hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Levi, I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. Moses went up the mountain, Mount Sinai, how many times?
I think it was
Just look at me. He went up the mountain how many times?
3.
Excellent. He went up the mountain 3 times. And each time he went up for how many days?
40.
40 days, exactly. Glad you knew that. And when he went up the mountain, he was up there for 40 days each time. And as he finally came down, God said, Moses, one more thing. I want you to make sure, I've already told you this, but one more time, I just want to remind you to remind the Jewish people of one thing. Do you know what that one thing is? I'd look on page 162. Do you know what that one thing is? I'd look at the top of the page.
Wait.
I'd look right there. What do you think God said?
The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat,
That's what he said. What else did God say?
observing Shabbat through the ages, of
covenant.
as a covenant for all time.
And God continued by saying,
It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For 6 days Adonai made the heaven and the earth. On the seventh day God ceased from the work and was refreshed.
And if we were to sing it, we might do it this way, right? That's your cue.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השמיים לדור תברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדור תברית עולם.
בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השמיים לדור תברית עולם.
כי שבימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת
הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות לדור תברית עולם.
Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדור תברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדור תברית עולם.
Wait, what do we want them to do first?
Ooh, may you please stand up.
There we go. I like it. Page 164, we'll stand up for the Amidah, the central prayer of our evening service. Levi's going to lead us through a little, what in Hebrew we call a zimun, a little meditation at the beginning on page 164. Then we'll turn to page 166 and 168, where he'll lead us through the first few paragraphs. Then we'll pray silently up to page 180 and 181. Again, traditional Hebrew prayer and translation on the even page, poetic renditions and concepts on the odd numbered pages. When you finish with your silent prayer, after we pray the first few pages together, at the end of your silent prayer, you can be seated and we'll join together at that point. So Levi, if you'll take it away and lead us through the first few paragraphs of our Amidah.
Adonai Sefer Tifta Ufi Agiti Latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
166.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Velohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rahel Velohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagivur Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim V'chonei Hakol V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot U'mevi Goel Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo V'ahava Melech Hozer U'Moshe U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham
166.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh Chol Atah Rav Le'oshia Morid Atah Mechayeh Bechesed Mechayeh Hakol Berachamim Ramim Somech Nothim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umechayeh Emunato Lishenei Yafa Hamocha bagivurot umidol Melech meimi to mechaye umas miyagashua Flaman atalachiyot hakol Baruch atah
Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. The top of 170. Atah kadosh, Shimcha kadosh, Ukadoshim b'chol yom, Yahalelucha selha, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue silently through 180, 181 with your finished with your silent prayers. Please be seated. Our Amidah section ends with a couple of meditations on page 180. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who inhabit the earth. So, Levi, what do you think? I'll sing one of them and you sing the other one. You good? Sure, I'll do the first one. You can do the second one. Yiyu l'ratzon imrefi begyon libi lefanecha Adonai Tzuri Gegoali Adonai Tzuri V'Gorali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart, may they all be acceptable unto you, Adonai, my rock and my Redeemer. Adonai, my rock and my Redeemer. All right, Levi, that was my turn. Now it's your turn to lead us in a prayer for peace. Are you ready?
Oh, say shalom b'mama. Ooh, say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru, v'imru, amen. Oh, say shalom b'mama. Ooh, say shalom aleinu. Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Velko Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Velko Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Velko Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom.
In a prayer for peace. We take a moment now just to we'll talk a little bit about this week's Torah portion, Parashat Naso. Levi's going to teach us a few things about it tomorrow. I'll teach us one thing about it today. At the beginning of the Torah portion, in Parashat Naso, you can just chill if you want to.
Nice.
Yeah, go for it. Rest your feet. Just kick back. It's the chair next to it's more comfy.
I'm saving it for my big day.
Saving it for the big day. I like it. We're sitting in the chair next to the big cool chair. Tomorrow we'll take the big cool chair, yeah? Okay, awesome. I like it. The first thing that happens in our Torah portion tomorrow is we have a census. We already took a census when we left Egypt, and we came up with a number of 603,550 men of military age, not counting the Levites, not counting the women, not counting the children, not counting the elderly, not counting some other people who were not Jews who came out. I don't know how many people left Egypt, but it was a lot more than 603,550. I'm guessing, 2.2, 2.3 million people wandering out of Egypt. It was a big crowd. We took its census for various things, and the census that is this week's Torah portion is a census of the Levites. About 8,000. Not the Levi's. That's a different group of people. There's only one of those, right? But the Levites, not the Levi's, the Levites, there were about 8,000 or so of those. And why were we taking a census of them? Because the Levites had a particular job as we were making our way through the desert. And that particular job was to transport the tent of meeting and the Ark of the Covenant and the altar and all of the other things that go along with it. Now, this is quite a task. This tent of meeting during our 40 years of wandering in the desert was roughly the size of half of a football field. So it's not a little tiny camping tent. It's a pretty sizable tent, right? It has posts on all four sides. It has very heavy sides of tent material, not made out of nice, clear nylon and things that you might take camping with you now, but made out of heavy linen and heavy wool. These are very heavy tops to the building and very heavy sides to this tent, right? And on top of the tent, there were animal skins that protected the inside of what was going on from water, so kind of a waterproofing on the top. They said there were some various animal skins, including one that if you read in most translations will tell you was dolphin skin. I don't believe it was dolphin skin. The Hebrew word is tachash. Tachash in English means tachash. We don't really know what it means, but a lot of scholars think it means dolphin. So on top was dolphin skin. Dolphin skin wouldn't be porous, so the rainwater couldn't get through. I think they're wrong. I think it was unicorn skin. But you're all laughing, but the Talmud actually says that it's unicorn skin, but that's a totally different story. But as they took the tent apart, the long posts to make it stand up that were about 10 feet tall, and the side posts that kept it all together, and then metal wrapping that kept those posts together, and nuts and bolts and screws that held that together, and sockets that went down into the ground so that the posts could go down in the ground, and then there were hooks that went on all of the wood so that those sides of the tents could hang on the hooks, and all the stuff inside, the Ark of the Covenant, the altar for the spices, the table for the showbread, the menorah, the stand that held the bowls, the other stand that held the bowls, the rakes and the spoons and the oil basins and the wood holders and all of these things that went in. It's a lot of stuff, right? It's a long list. And somehow it had to get from place to place because there was this giant fiery cloud, the Torah tells us, that would be before the Jewish people. And when it would rise up, the Jewish people would rise up and the Israelites would move through the desert to a new place. We never really stayed more than about a year or two in certain places, in some places only for a couple of weeks, in some places only a few days. And every time, this entire half a football field size thing had to be taken apart, folded up, packed away, and the Levites were responsible. Not the Levites, you don't have to do it by yourself, you're all good. They had to do it in the desert. Take apart the entire thing, all of those things on that long list that I said, pack them up, transport them to wherever this cloud of God would take them, and set it up again. They had to set it up before anything else happened because the entire camp was set up around the Mishkan, around this tent of meeting. So the tent had to be set up so that everyone would know where to set up the camps of the various tribes. It's quite a responsibility and quite a large task. Today, you can go to the Ball Arena if you're in Denver, or maybe to, what is it called now? It's not the Staples Center anymore, the crypto.com arena in Los Angeles, or Madison Square Garden in New York, and you can see a basketball game one night. Only two teams playing, only one's going to win, and it's not located in Florida, but that's a whole other story. You can watch a hockey team play the very next night. There's only two teams playing, and the one that wins will not be the one from Florida. That's a similar story. The night after that, you could see a concert. The night after that, you could see another concert. And they moved in all these things and moved out all of these things in one night to go from a basketball arena to an ice hockey arena to a concert venue to a different concert venue that's in the round instead of the stage up in the front. And all of this happens in a matter of a few hours because we have modern technology. We have all sorts of machines to move these things around and to set them up. We put them on trucks to transport them from place to place. But in ancient times, we had carts pulled by donkeys and oxen and camels. We had to lift these heavy things by hand. There were no extra machines to do it. There were no wonderful things that would compact everything into a thing that you could even put on an airplane. No, everything was piled up on these carts. And we took a census of the Levites, 8,000 in some of them, to make sure that each division of the Levites would be in charge of one thing. You guys are in charge of the sides. You guys in charge of the poles. You guys in charge of all of the objects inside. And each Levite, the Torah tells us, it was written down. Each one of the Levites in each tribe had to write down what their job does. Eleazar and Itamar, the two sons of Aaron, the high priest, were in charge. And Itamar was in charge of making sure that the lists were kept, which person was in charge of each piece of the operation. Because it was such a large operation, they needed every person to know their role. And if one person missed their role, the whole thing didn't work. If you were the person who was in charge of putting up the final 5 hooks at the corner of the tent of meeting, and you didn't get those 5 hooks there, the tent doesn't hold up. The sacrifices can't happen. The community can't set up its camp with all of the various tribes around the temple. Each and every person played a role. The only name we know while the tent was constructed each and every time was Itamar, because it was Itamar's job to tell everybody it's time to take the tent down and it's time to put the tent up. But a whole bunch of people whose names we do not know made it happen so that everything would work out well for the Israelites in the desert. It's kind of like our society. Everybody has a role to play. And if someone doesn't play their role, the society doesn't hold out together the way it's supposed to. We might only know a few names. The president, the famous movie star, the rock star, the guy who's the CEO of the charity that we gave money to. But the volunteers, the people who gave money to the charity, the people who offered time, the people maybe at Care and Share Food Bank here in town, for instance, or maybe Tri-Lakes Cares. We'll hear a little bit about that tomorrow, I think. Every person who donated a can of food, every person who donated a blanket, every person who taught a lesson, every person who chipped into whatever needed to be done in the community to make sure it happened, each one of those is like one hook on this tent of meeting in the desert. Each one of those is like one hole in the ground where the little holder goes for the post to go in. One of those misses its place, the entire tent of meeting doesn't work, which means the sacrifices don't happen and the tents of the tribes don't get put up because one little hook was missing, one post was missing, one stitch to hold the side walls together. Every one of us is like those ancient Levites. We have our role to play. No one may know our name, but they'll know us if we mess it up. We don't want to be known for that. We'd rather be unknown for doing the things that help put everything together. Levi, along the way of your journey to this bar mitzvah weekend, there have been lots of those people. I know you're going to say thank you to a few people tomorrow, but there's all kinds of people to thank along the way who we might not even know, that you might not even know they helped you. Because we're sometimes unaware of when people give us that help. But each one of us gets to be that Levite who puts up the hooks, who puts in the posts, who pulls the sides of the tent over and maybe puts that dolphin or maybe unicorn skin up on top to make sure that the water doesn't drip in and put out the flames that are on the altar. If every one of us plays our role and does our little task, it all fits together well. We're told that it was the 30 to 50-year-old Levites that had the responsibility for all of this because they figured they were mature enough to get the task done. Society changes sometimes and those age change. Tomorrow morning we'll give you a talit with these fringes on it that remind us of the commandments in the Torah, which tells us that maybe you don't have to be 30 to take on that responsibility to do your part in holding the whole tent together. Maybe you just need to be 13. I think we may see that from Levi tomorrow when he teaches us a little bit when we get to our Torah portion tomorrow. We're going to continue now as we turn to page 371. We ask God to bring refuah shlema, complete healing, to Brian Zabel, Genindel Bat Sima, Azi Rahmani, Abraham ben Meir, Tova Bat Rasha, Fran Hart, Aharon ben Abraham Basara, Sheila Bikol, Rachel Bat Aryeh Vachana, Larry Ritterband, Sarah Tischler, Kayla Varik, Lila Varik, Stanley Sachs, Carolyn East, Betty Schwarzkopf, Karen Thursby, Alan and Encil Turlupis, Kelly Fuentes, Paltiela Bat Asha, Dvora Esther Bat Moshe, Ellen Weiss, and Tommy Elledge. Are there any other names for healing that anybody has? We'll start on this side of the room, names for healing. Sweetie. Thank you. Thank you. Any others on this side of the room? Names for healing on this side of the room. Any names? Thank you. Which name? Thank you. All the way in the back. Thank you. Any others? For all those we've named and for all those in need, we ask for God to give them refuah shlema, complete healing. May it come bimheira v'yamenu. May it come speedily in our time. On page 371, in the middle of the page, we find the words for Mishavera. Mishavera avoteinu mikor habracha leimoteinu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Yishebera imoteinu mikor habracha leavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We continue as we turn to page 586. We'll rise for Aleinu. There are a few different versions of this prayer in different traditions. We'll do the one that's at the very bottom of page 586 as we all rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kogoye haratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noteh shamayim ve'yoser haaretz, u'moshav yikaro hashamayim ima'al, u'shchinatu zo, begov meheromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efes ulato, kakatu v'torato, yadata hayom v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, bashamayim mima'al, ve'al ha'aretz, mitachat einod. In the middle of page 590. Ki ha-malchut shelcha hi olamet imloch bechavod, v'katuv b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz, v'yom hahu, ye Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, Ushemo echad, We can all be seated. We come to the Kaddish Tome, the mourner's Kaddish. As we do, we think of those who are in need of healing. We ask for, we think of those who have died. In years gone by, at this time of year, we ask for God to think of them as I'm looking for. And I'm going to disappear for half a second because it gave me the wrong list. It's last week's list. Don't go anywhere. Levi, entertain them for a minute. Tell them what you're going to read tomorrow morning. No, you don't really need to do that. I'll just keep talking for half a second while I'm standing here, and maybe all of this is going to be recorded out to all of you there. I'm going to look at the list right here. Here we go. And just like magic, I have our list for this week. Those whose yahrzeits we observe this week and remember the anniversaries of their deaths. We remember Hazel Solomon, Max Lux, Rose Draytell, Shirley Straight, Jack Bloom, Lauren Arnold, Nanny Post, Samuel Waldbaum, Marla Levin, Leonard Weiner, Michael Superstein, Daniel Siegelman, Jenny Sanders, Leona Feinberg Fisher, May Rudnick, Robert Mandelbaum, Doris Schatz, Lester Cohan, Morris Kramer, Rachel Lieber, Francis Tzedek, and Isidore Pfeffer. Are there any other yahrzeits that anyone is observing this week? Yehu zichronam lebracha, may their memories be an eternal blessing. We ask mourners to rise and those whose custom it is to stand with them. As we turn in our Siddur to page 598, as in their memory we sanctify God's name. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, d'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, huyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. We can all be seated. Before we bring our service to a close, I'd like to invite Larry Stoller, our B'nai Mitzvah tutor extraordinaire, to share with us a few announcements of things we need to know for the upcoming days and weeks.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Rabbi, thank you for leading tonight's service. A couple quick announcements. Since it's June, the first Shabbat in the park, which is going to be at America the Beautiful Park, will be held next Friday evening, June 9th. Bring a picnic dinner if you'd like to come. Bring chairs and a blanket. A service will begin at, 5:30, be dinner. And service will begin at 6:30. Rabbi Jay will be there early to greet you. And if you do plan on attending, please do register online, templeshalom.com, because security will be on site. June 11th is the Colorado Springs Pride Parade. If you would like to participate as part of Temple Shalom's group of folks, please call the office and let them know you'll be coming. The parade is going to start at 11 a.m. More information is online and also to register. If you know of any temple members who are ill, hospitalized, or suffering from a loss, please contact the temple so that we'll be sure to provide encouragement, support, reach out to them. We don't always know who might be in need, So please, if you know somebody, please contact us. I would like to give a big thank you and mazel tov to the entire Epstein family for Levi's bar mitzvah and sponsoring the oneg in the back. I think, didn't he do a good job tonight? Yeah, maybe he'll do an encore. Yay, encore. You ready for an encore? No. The encore is going to be tomorrow morning, actually. Services begin at 9:30 in the morning. And Shabbat Shalom, and thanking Rabbi, over to you.
Page 600, there we go. Page 625. Am I not wrong? All right, my battery's dying, so we're going to share a microphone.
Yay.
All right, scoot over a little bit. Did you get a drink for me, too? Just for you. All right. My microphone died, so we're going to share a microphone here. We're on page 625, and you get to do a little repeat as we join together in these words of Adon Olam. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Yeit Nasa, B'chetza Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei
Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, B'chetza Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Levi, V'chai Goali, V'tzur Gabi Beit Zara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi, U'manosti, V'natusi V'yom Nikra Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, B'chetza Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. For those of you online at templeshalom.com and on YouTube, Laila Tov and Shabbat Shalom to all of you. For the rest of you, please join us in the back for Kiddush and Motzi. Mazel Tov Levi, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9:30.